God was already there. My wife called me at work one day, said meet me at the hospital, then walked away. No explanation, no words, no clue. My heart was racing before I got through. I stood there waiting in that room, thinking the worst like people do. Then she opened up a winter coat, and there's a little baby broke my soul. And all I heard inside my head were the words that Adam said. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones. Before I knew it, love had already come home. When we thought life was falling apart, God was already there. When we couldn't see past the dark, God was already there. Working in the weight and healing in the hurt, turning what looked broken into something worth every tear and every prayer. Before we even knew, God was already there. God was already there. And pregnant again, and we were broke, hanging on by a thread. $5,000 for a whole hard year. Some nights we survived on faith and fear. Then out of nowhere the telephone rang, an old friend we hadn't seen since way back when. She said, seems we can't have children of our own. And suddenly heaven filled the room. One door closed, another open wide. God and mercy standing on the other side. When we thought life was falling apart, God was already there. When we couldn't see past the dark, God was already there. Writing every chapter, holding every tear, standing in tomorrow while we trembled here. Every road that led nowhere led exactly where God was already there. Then came Reno in a midnight sound, like a shotgun blast shaking the house down. I woke up praying on trembling knees, Lord, bring my daughter back to me. 2 weeks later the phone call came, everything in her whole life changed. Lost a job, a car, her home, but God was bringing his daughter home. Now she's helping hurting girls survive, because she lived that very life. And every scar the enemy made, God turned around for saving grace. When we thought life was falling apart, God was already there. Before heartbreak, in the healing, in the waiting, through the years, in the miracles we never saw, till we look back standing here, and now our grandchildren rise, strong and full of light, proof that even broken roads can lead to better lives. God was already there. So when you think your world is done and hope is hard to find, remember God is standing there, already